Democratic town hall. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways?
Well, my takeaway was basically that Bernie had people pretty excited. He was the obvious winner to me. I'm sure to the Clinton News Network he wasn't the obvious winner, but also I did happen to tune into the analysis that was on Fox later, and they felt that Bernie won the town hall meeting and got people very energized. Of course, they had their own take on it because they talked about, well, his numbers don't add up, it's going to be big deficits. But they all admitted that Hillary is in real trouble. And their prediction is, these are the Fox people, of course, is that not only is Hillary going to lose in Iowa and in New Hampshire, she's going to lose big. And yesterday, I don't know if it was last night or yesterday, Bernie got a big endorsement from I don't know, there's a representative.
Oh yeah, in South Carolina.
Yeah,
he switched endorsements to Bernie.
So this firewall that they assume is existing in South Carolina may be crumbling right before them. So I think Bernie did a very good job of selling his passion. Hillary was up there stumping for the third term of Obama. Well, that's what she was up there for.
Did you also notice, too, how freaking biased CNN was towards Hillary versus Sanders? Whereas, Chris Cuomo, who's another Hillary shill, is basically like telling Sanders he's going to punish the rich and he's a socialist and he's bringing back big government. You're bringing back big government, not letting it go, pushing back on everything, and just tossing Hillary the softest of softballs. Right. Oh, President Obama's basically endorsing you. What do you think about that?
But that's why we expected that from the Clinton News Network, right? We knew that was going to happen.
And all she did was talk about herself.
Yeah.
Not talk about what the problems are and how to fix it, but just talk about how great she is. And how she took out Osama bin Laden and how great things were in the 80s before any of these millennials were even born. It was so great before you were born. But I think they've given up on the millennial vote anyway. But
my take on it is she is old-time Democratic Party. That's all she is, and she doesn't get it that there's a sea change taking place where people are tired of what they've been getting. She doesn't get it.
And this brings us to the marriage of progressive and old-time campaigning, and that's O'Malley. Because O'Malley, he's like pulling things out of the mid-1980s campaigning playbook. The way he looks at people and listens and then goes to, well, when I was in New Jersey the other day, I talked to this woman I talked to a farmer in Iowa, and he had taken off his jacket and rolling up his sleeves, and he probably couldn't afford Marco Rubio's coach, but he's clearly being coached on everything, how to look at people, how to answer things, rehearse your talking points, let's go through it again, and he's probably got some 65-year-old consultant, that did a bunch of successful campaigns in the 80s, and it doesn't work anymore.
He's still playing out of that playbook.
And I think he's okay on a lot of issues, but he keeps going, but when I was governor, it's like, who cares? And it's like all this talk about Hillary. Well, if the Mafis and the Reckies and the Sediditties in the da-da-da-da do this and this, then we need to blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And when I was in the Situation Room, I blah, 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 blah. Hey, I did pretty good at Benghazi, didn't I? And blah, 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 blah. I did pretty good with those hearings at Benghazi, didn't I? Wink, wink. And nobody wants to people want to know, hey, I don't have any money. I can't afford health care. I can't live on what I'm doing. And Sanders sit there and said, here's the problem. Here's how I'm going to solve it.
Yeah.
And even Chris Cuomo coming out, you're pretty old, dude. You're probably going to die. Are you going to give us your medical records, you old ancient creep? Of course he's not going to say that to strapping male model-esque O'Malley. But it just, man, but CNN Network is Clinton News Network, and of
And
course,
he's an old political hack. That's all he is.
right, and of course, after we get the nice spin of Hillary was so presidential, staying on point, such a great personality, dude. If you close your eyes and listen to her speak, she's almost Farina-esque.
Yeah.
If you close your eyes, when if you open your eyes, she's no, she's a little better than Farina, but anyway, is this town hall meeting you think gonna swing any votes?
I think so, because if you look at the two states, historically, they have had big changes in the last week.
Yeah,
And I think because there are a lot of people who go in thinking, maybe I think I'm for Hillary or Bernie or O'Malley. I don't think anybody thinks they're for O'Malley. Maybe I could be wrong. But these two states historically have flip-flopped a lot in the last week. So we'll see. And the other thing the Fox commentators brought up was how Debbie Wasserman Schultz has tried to hide these people from the American by scheduling them at all of these weird. Have you ever noticed how the Republican things are like during the week? You know, when people are gonna, sit down to, and they schedule them against some big conference playoff game. They probably scheduled one yesterday because they thought it was a Monday night football game, but they didn't realize that was over already.
right. Yeah, because they don't.
Everybody knows what happened there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help Hillary. It just makes her look desperate.
Well, this town hall probably helped Sanders, and I looked at all the online polls again, and he crushed on all of them, as he always does. But if you watch CNN, that's a whole different story.